Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Should we get started with the prayers? Okay, we'll get started. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So today we are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 4, and we are reading text 9. Would anybody like to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. I can read.
Sure, Mataji.
Text 9. Okay. Arudra Bhagantam Avekshya Chadvaram Pitracha Deve Krita Helanam Vipal Anadrita Yagya Sadasi Adishvari Chukopalokan Eva Dakshatirusha, a translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Present in the arena of sacrifice, Sati saw that there were no oblations for her husband, Lord Shiva. Next, she realized that not only had her father failed to invite Lord Shiva, but when he saw Lord Shiva's exalted wife, Daksha did not receive her either. Thus she became greatly angry, so much so that she looked at her father as if she were going to burn him with her eyes. Mataji, are you sure we didn't read this already?
This is based on the revised schedule that you sent me.
Okay, and what is it, 9, 10, 11, and 9, 10, 11, or 12, or
9,
I don't
10,
remember now. 9, 10, 11, okay, Mataji, I'm sorry. By offering oblations in the fire while chanting the Vedic mantra Svaha, one offers respects to all the demigods, great sages, and pitas, including Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. It is customary that Shiva is one of those who are offered respects. But Sati, while personally present in the arena, saw that the Brahmanas did not utter the mantra offering oblations to Lord Shiva. Namaha Shivaya Svaha. Svaha, yeah. She was not sorry for herself, for she was ready to come to her father's house without being invited. But she wanted to see whether or not her husband was being respected. To see her relatives, her sisters and mother, was not so important. Even when she was received by her mother and sisters, she did not care, for she was most concerned that her husband was being insulted in the sacrifice. When she marked the insult, she became greatly angry and looked at her father so angrily that Daksha appeared to burn in her vision. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. Would anybody else like to read the next verse, 10?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. I can read, Mataji.
Please accept our humble obeisance. Mataji, please read. Thank you.
So text 10, I'm going to read Hare Krishna. Jagarha samar savipannaya gira Shiva dvisham dupapatha sramaye yam so tejasa bhutaganana samuthitan nigrahaya devi jagato visru sunanvata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The followers of Lord Shiva, the ghosts, were ready to injure or kill Daksha, but Sati stopped them by her order. She was very angry and sorrowful, and in that mood she began to condemn the process of sacrificial fruitive activities and persons who are very proud of such unnecessary and troublesome sacrifices. She especially condemned her father, speaking against him in the presence of all. Purport. The process of offering sacrifices is specially meant to satisfy Vishnu, who is called Yagnesha, because he is the enjoyer of the fruit of all sacrifice. Bhagavad Gita 5.29 also confirms this fact. The Lord says, Bhakta Ram Yagna Tapasam. He is the actual beneficiary of all sacrifices. Not knowing this fact, less intelligent men offer sacrifices for some material benefit. To derive personal material benefits for sense gratification is the reason person like Daksha and his followers perform sacrifices. Such sacrifices are condemned here as a labor of love without actual profit. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. One may prosecute the Vedic injunctions of offering sacrifices and other fruitive activities, but if by such activities one does not develop attraction for Vishnu, they are useless labors. One who has developed love for Vishnu must develop love and respect for Vishnu's devotees. Lord Shiva is considered the foremost personalities amongst the Vaishnavas. Vaishnanam yatha sambhuha. Thus, when Sati saw that her father was performing great sacrifices, but had no respect for the greatest devotee, Lord Shiva, she was very angry. This is fitting when Vishnu or Vaishnava is insulted, one should be angry. Lord Chaitanya, who always preached non-violence, meekness, and humility, also became angry when Nityananda was offered by Jagai and Madhai, and he wanted to kill them. When Vishnu or Vaishnavas is blasphemed or dishonored, one should be very angry. Narottama Das Thakur said, Krodha Bhakta Dvaisi Jane, we have anger, and that anger can be a great quality when directed against a person who is envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee. One should not be tolerated when a person is offensive towards Vishnu or Vaishnava. The anger of Sati towards her father was not objectionable, for although he was her father, he was trying to insult the greatest Vaishnava. Thus, Sati's anger against her father was quite applaudable. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Virashanta Mataji. Would anybody like to read text 11? Hare Krishna. Ruchi Mataji, would you like to read? Or Linda Mataji, would you like to read? Manasi Ganga Mataji, anybody?
देवी उवाच न यास्य लोकस्त्यातिशयनं प्रियास् तथा प्रियो देहः प्रीतं प्रियात्मनः तस्मिन् समास्तमनिमुक्तवैराग्ये भवन्तं कथमा प्रतिपयत्. Translation. The Blessed Goddess said, Lord Shiva is the most beloved of all living entities. He has no rival. No one is very dear to him, and no one is his enemy. No one but you can be envious of such a universal being who is free from all enmity. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 9.29, the Lord says, Samohyam sarva bhuteshu. I am equal to all living entities. Similarly, Lord Shiva is a qualitative incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so he has almost the same qualities as the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is equal to everyone. No one is his enemy, and no one is his friend. But one who is envious by nature can become the enemy of Lord Shiva. Therefore, Sati accused her father. No one but you could be envious of Lord Shiva or be his enemy. Other sages and learned brahmanas were present, but they were not envious of Lord Shiva, although they were dependent on Daksha. Therefore, no one but Daksha could be envious of Lord Shiva. That was the accusation of Sati. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Manasi Ganga Mataji. So, Govardhan Leela Mataji, would you like to share something based on what you read in text 9?
Okay, let's take a look at it. So in this, we find that Sati, right just before this, well, I wasn't here for yesterday's class, I'm not sure. The last I remembered when I was in class is that Sati was very distraught because she didn't know which way to go, one way or the other, to listen to her husband or to, and not go to the sacrifice, not go to see her family, or to just go and see her family against his wishes. Of course, she went, and she went alone, it appears here, which we were in the last class I attended. I was Tuesday. It was not such a good thing for a woman, a married woman, married or single, to be going out alone. But she was so torn, and she had so much affection for her family that she went. So she's here present in the arena of sacrifice. And then she starts to realize that, what Lord Shiva had been saying to her was true. So her father, Sati's father, had not invited Lord Shiva, but when the father saw Sati, his daughter, Daksha, the father, did not receive her either. So not only was Lord Shiva not invited, but the daughter was not received well by the father. As this was a prediction of Lord Shiva. So she became very, very upset. She got very angry. And just the way she did with her husband at the time when, he didn't support her and try to give her permission to go to this sacrifice, she shot some pretty bad glances at her husband. She did the same thing here with her father, Daksha. She looked at her father as if she were going to burn him with her eyes. And that's the level of anger that she had. And so in the purport, so when you're having a sacrifice and you're making an offering in the fire and you're chanting the Vedic mantra, Svaha, one offers respects to all the demigods, all the great sages and pitas, including Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. And so it's customary for Lord Shiva to be one who was offered respects. And of course, but Sati was, watching this carefully, and while she was present in that arena of sacrifice, she saw that all the Brahmanas didn't even say the mantra offering oblations to Lord Shiva, which was Namaha Shivaya Svaha. So she didn't feel sorry for herself, rather she felt sorry for her husband, that he was, not given due respect. And here she felt bad because she wanted to come to her father's house without being invited. But what she really wanted to see was whether or not her husband was going to be respected in this fire sacrifice. So it wasn't as important to her to see her relatives, her mom and sisters, etc. She didn't care. She was received by her sisters and her mother, but she didn't care because her biggest concern was her husband, that he was not being insulted in this sacrifice. So when she saw this insult, she became very angry, and she looked at her father so in such an angry way that for her, Daksha looked to be burning. Okay, in her eyes. This is just not done. This would have to be one of the biggest insults. Not to pay proper respects to Lord Shiva, especially when it is the custom to do so. So, that's what I got out of text 9. I like to summarize the text because, I remember everything better that way. So.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it. That's
Mataji.
text 9.
Dear Shanta Mataji, would you like to speak on text 10? Dear Shanta Mataji, are you there?
Yes, Mataji, I'm here. Just a little bit far from, I was just a little bit far from the phone. So I'm going to read one more time the translation. The followers of Lord Shiva, the ghosts, were ready to injure or kill Daksha, but Sati stopped them by her order. She was very angry and sorrowful, and in that mood she began to condemn the process of sacrificial fruitive activities and persons who are very proud of such unnecessary and troublesome sacrifices. So she especially condemned her father, speaking against him in the presence of all. So it's like, yogya means, I think what I understood here is like, yogya means pleasing Lord Vishnu. And so pleasing Lord Vishnu, and so for that also, we need to please before pleasing God. So we need to please his devotees, like, all rishis, like, Shiva, all, the Vishnu's devotee. But over here, it says here, like Daksha. So, Sati's father, when Shiva went there, so he did not respect him. He totally ignored him. So because of that, Sati got really hurt, and so anyway, so all these, like, sacrifice, like, the sacrifice, the sacrifice, like, for fruitive activities, it says here, like, this is unnecessary and it's troublesome. So in this, like, Kali Yuga, but it says here, Maha Mantra is the enough in Kali Yuga. So in Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the only sacrifice we could do. So, and now for the sacrifice is, we have too much labor and too many stuff for, we won't be able to collect. So it's very, very expensive in Kali Yuga. We won't be able to do that. And so over here it says like, how much we need to please and how we need to respect our Vaishnavas. It says here like, where it says here, Lord Shiva, she was very angry. And thus, when Sati saw that her father was performing great sacrifices but had no respect for the greatest devotee, Lord Shiva, she was very angry. This is fitting. When Vishnu or Vaishnava is insulted, one should be angry. Lord Chaitanya, who always preached non-violence, meekness, and humility, also became angry when Nityananda was offended by Jagai and Madai, and he wanted to kill them. When when Vishnu or a Vaishnava is blasphemed or dishonored, one should be very angry. Narottama Das Thakur said, Krodha Bhakta Dveshi Jane, we have anger, and that anger can be great quality when directed against a person who is envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee. One should not be tolerated when a person is offensive towards Vishnu or a Vaishnava. The anger of Sati towards her father was not objectionable, for although he was her father, he was trying to insult the greatest Vaishnava. Thus, Sati's anger against her father was quite applaudable. Thank you, Mataji. So from this, we all have an anger. So if somebody trying to, insult, blaspheme the, devotee and Vishnu, so we have to be like, take an action for that. We can use our anger towards that. It says here. So I think that's all, I understood from here, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Dhirashanta Mataji, for sharing. Manasi Ganga Mataji, would you like to share from text 11?
Okay, I'll read the translation a second time. The Blessed Goddess said, Lord Shiva is the most beloved of all living entities. He has no rival. No one is very dear to him, and no one is his enemy. No one but you could be envious of such a universal being who is free from all enmity. So this is the daughter blasting her father, actually, in defense of her husband, Lord Shiva. In the purport, it says, Srila Prabhupada says that Lord Shiva is a qualitative incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he has almost the same qualities as the Supreme Lord. I believe that Lord Krishna has 64 qualities, and I believe that Lord Shiva has 60. Please correct me, Leela Mantri, if I'm incorrect. Is that correct? Shiva has 60 qualities?
I don't remember. It's almost about 84.
What?
I think it almost is 84, but I don't remember the
No,
exact.
it's 60. It's 64. Isn't it 64 and then 60? Anyway, I'll go back and look if we have time. And that therefore Lord Shiva is equal to everyone. No one is his enemy. No one is his friend. But one who is envious by nature can become the enemy of Lord Shiva. So she's speaking, I mean, Srila Prabhupada is therefore speaking of Dakshai there, that if one has an envious nature, he can become an enemy of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is pretty much faultless. I mean, he has almost the same qualities as the Supreme Lord. He does not, he does not have enemies, and no one is his friend. He does not play favorites. And so the daughter Sati says to Daksha, her father, no one but you could be envious of Lord Shiva or be his enemy. So that's a pretty strong statement, because Lord Shiva's very outstanding personality. So there were other people present. There were sages and learned brahmanas, but they were not envious of the Lord. But they were dependent on Daksha, though. So, when someone becomes dependent on another, because they have loyalty to that person, lots of times they're not honest in the way that they present themselves. So I'm wondering, I don't know how the brahmanas or the other sages, how they reacted, if they supported Daksha or not. But just human nature is that when you are connected to someone, that you tend to protect yourself, actually, and maybe not necessarily be as honest in the way you present yourself. So this thing, envy, but one who is envious by nature can become the enemy of Lord Shiva. So a great personality like Lord Shiva does not, because he's such an excellent personality, it's not typical for people to become envious of him. But Daksha was, and so there was something going on in his heart. This thing, envy, is the most severe of all the enemies, per Chandramauli Swami today in one of his lectures. He says that envy is like a snake, and that how does one counteract this thing called envy? He says that the way to counteract envy, if one is envious, one needs to perform humble service to the Vaishnavas and be satisfied with what Krishna has given you. So those are two things that can be done. So I wonder what kind of association Daksha had, in that he was envious. And so that's pretty much what I have here. There wasn't too much here in the purport to speak of. Hare Krishna.
Manasi Ganga Mataji. Would anybody like to ask any questions or share more based on what we read today? Or if anybody has any personal sharing about how they overcame a situation where there was envy involved.
I think there were some, Chandramauli Swami had brought it up in another lecture, actually, that today's lecture and then another lecture, one of the things that you're supposed to do, and I've done this, in spite of how I felt, I did it, and it really helped. Not only did I pray for the person, but I tried to serve. Well, Manasiganga brought it up in one aspect. Yes, try to serve that person you are envious of. Now, she was mentioning, well, Guru said something to the effect, serve the Vaishnavas, but specifically the one you're envious of. Even if you don't want to do it, it really is, I don't know. I think it's very, not just cleansing. It makes you feel very good, makes you happy in the end, because that person is not expecting that of you. They kind of might be expecting you to, react in an angry way or a nasty way. And it's to do such a service, the person becomes very humbled by that because they might have noticed that envy, and then they see a change, they see a turnabout in the person. It makes them very, very humble to see such a behavior. And I think it gives, this is just what I'm speculating, I think it makes the other person feel very hopeful about people, because, when I was very, very small, now I'm not talking about as I got older, I did have, I don't know if it was envy. No, not toward my stepmother, not envy. I tried very hard to please her. I'm just trying to think of a different situation. All I can say is when I was young, maybe there was that feeling of, don't try to take my mother's place. That was my feeling all the time. But as I got older, I tried to please her, and she wouldn't accept it. No, see, this doesn't fit for envy. I'm sorry, because I was never really envious of her, just angry that she was trying to maybe take my mom's place. So that's not the same thing. I can't think of a situation. Well, there were situations when I was very young, but I tried to rectify those situations by being kind to that person when I saw them at different times in my life, later in my life. And then Guru said something else. Let's see. Serve the Vaishnavas. Oh, he was talking about something Radhanath Swami said. He quoted Radhanath Swami. He says, I don't want to take credit for this because he's the one who said it. If you don't ever want to be envious of someone, how did he put that? Look at them and say, well, the Lord, that's it. The Lord has given them a certain thing. And if, whatever that thing is, they're supposed to have that, because everything that the Lord gives to someone that's the way it's supposed to be. It's all good. And so the fact that if I'm envious of that person, it means that on some level, I'm envious of Krishna. And he said, if you want to get rid of envy, look at it that way, and you won't be envious anymore, because you will understand that the Lord has given that person something that they were supposed to have. It may not be for you, but it's for that person. And, to not be envious, to not feel that way, because it's really not the person you're envious of, it's Krishna you're envious of. That's what I was going to say, that he added to in the lecture this morning. So that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
I've heard
Leela
what
Mataji. Please go ahead, Manasi Ganga Mataji.
I heard it this way, that when one serves a Vaishnava, what it does, it when okay, let's say I'm envious, and I realize that I'm envious, and I say, oh, what I need to do is I need to serve the Vaishnava. That very act of service is putting you in a position of being humble to that person, because if with envy, you're looking at that person, and you want that quality. He made the distinction between envy and being jealous. He said that one who is envious, he feels bad about towards another, and he's wondering, why does that person have that quality or that thing or that material object or whatever. And he actually feels negative towards that person, where jealousy is there's a quality in somebody else, or they have something that I want, but the bad feeling is towards oneself. Why can't I have that? Not, oh, that person has it, and feeling like negative in like hatred or whatever towards that other person. So if one is envious and has that negative feeling that someone else has a quality, or someone else has some material objects or whatever that you would like, the way to get rid of that feeling is, if one serves, that act of service to that Vaishnava, that act of service puts one in a humbling position, puts that person in a humbling position. I was hearing the Govardhan Lila saying that that the person who's receiving the service is becoming humbled. But I've also heard that the one that is serving is forced to be humbled, because and that's the act of getting rid of that envious feeling, because if you're forced to acknowledge that this person has it, and you're trying to serve them, you're realizing, that, hey, I'm at fault for having this negative feeling. And Gurudev said the way to get rid of it is to serve someone, and that humility is so very important. It actually is like almost it's like an opposite sentiment to envy, because humility would be, oh, I don't, that person has it and I don't, and where if you have envy, it's like that person has it and I want it, and I'm mad that that person has it. So it's kind of like an opposite. And so the act of serving a person brings you down to that position of being humble. Anyway, so I just wanted to add that to Govardhan Lila's very nice discussion.
Thank you very much, Matajis. Would anybody else like to add, or
I was just going to say, and this is just it's still on the subject, but it's just a feeling I had about this. I used to feel, I don't know if it was envy, jealous, maybe more jealous, I don't know. At one time after my divorce, I wanted to be married again. And then for many years, I was thinking, oh Lord, why am I meant to be single for the rest of my life and by myself and da 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 da. And it, one of the things that helped me was that I associated with people who I felt were role models for me. I started, at that time, of course, I was not in Krishna consciousness, but I was associating with spiritual people who I felt were really good people. Okay, just maybe in the mode of goodness, they were certainly not devotees though. But they would. I wanted to emulate some of the qualities they had, and they would say, oh, it'll happen someday. If it could happen for me, it'll happen for you, and blah, blah, blah. I ended up feeling just like you did. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I would always try to say to myself, if it could happen for that person, then it's a possibility in this world that it could happen for me. And, if I'm associating with good people, I'm putting myself in the best position to make those things happen if it's in God's will for me, if God wants me to have this thing. So the change that I could go about at that time was to have faith in the good people I saw around me and how they how they were living their lives and how they could have a good partner. And I thought, well, if I try to work hard, that could happen for me too, if God wants it. So I take that into what we're doing in Krishna consciousness now. And I say, okay, if I want to, become a pure devotee, I want to become an advanced devotee. How would that happen? The best possibility for that to happen is for me to associate with people who are advanced, whom I want to emulate. Doesn't mean I'm going to copy them, but I'd like to, whose qualities I appreciate, and I want to, have those. I'd like to have those qualities, not in an envious sense, but to associate with those types of people. I hope that made sense, and I think that's how I live my life now. If that thought even enters, oh, I feel envy, or whatever. I don't know. Not that I'm going to hate that person. So maybe it's more jealousy. That what I would do is say, hey, wait a minute, they've got these wonderful qualities. These are devotees who are really, devoted to the Lord. And if I want to achieve that, I need to seek their association even more so that I can learn from them. And I think for me, that's how I could combat some of those feelings. Oh, I feel that way about this person or that person. Associate with someone who has what you want. And if, and then I pray for what God's will is anyway. But I try to associate with people who have what I want. So I guess that's another thought that I've had about this whole idea of envy. Maybe it's actually saying the same thing, like serving the Vaishnavas. It is, yeah. So that's it.
Like Mataji said, Mataji, I think serving is the Vaishnava, to attain the Krishna Prema. So I think we need to first serve the Vaishnava. So in that way, so we will, attain the Krishna Prema. I think that's the easiest path. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing.
Guru also said, he did say something about association with regards to envy, and that bad association drags you down. And what he said, like another way to counteract this is, he says you need to, when you have envy, you need to read and chant more. Because when you read and chant more, your mind is preoccupied in spiritual things. And when you saturate your mind on spiritual topics, then you don't have that time and chance and consciousness actually to absorb yourself in comparing and what does that person have, what I don't have. Oh no, you won't be in that consciousness, and you won't be you by reading and chanting more, you're taking yourself out of that materialistic mindset and putting yourself in a position where there's not a chance to do that. He says your mind becomes peaceful, and you make that connection to Krishna when you're reading and chanting more, and envy doesn't creep up. He says also to watch one's by reading and chanting more, prajalpa is reduced, and prajalpa is a enemy. It can cause all kinds of problems. Hurting others, etc. So anyway, so he said read and chant more. That was another thing, another suggestion he made when it comes to envy. Yeah, pretty well.
Leela Manjari Mataji, what did you feel about this topic? Are you there, Leela Manjari Mataji?
I see in the chat that she said she had to go. She had some service she had to do.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Well,
Anybody else?
Mataji. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot how many people are on.
Yeah, I'm wondering if anybody else wanted. Rohini Mataji, and I think Dita Shanti talked, and then so I think that's pretty much it. Rohini Mataji, did you want to say something? Okay. Maybe she's busy, right, preoccupied right now.
Mataji,
Oh.
thank you so much. No, I'm done. I'm just wondering how is Govardhan Lila Mataji, because your voice is different today.
Yeah, I'm laying down. I hurt my back. I had to go for treatment again. I'm in real bad shape, and I can't use the tablet anymore. I can't look at the tablet from a chair or a table. I have to, it flared my back up. Can you believe this? Just, it's
Just
so
looking
bad
at
I
the tab?
cannot. Yes, because the tablet, because my back gets curved a certain way, and I really hurt myself real bad. Yeah, so I have to lay down, and I have to prop the books up with pillows. That's the only way I can do it for a while, quite a while. He said he has to rebuild all the muscle strength in my back. It's real bad. So because for almost a week now, I've been, oversleep. I've been sleeping a lot and laying down because I'm just not myself, But my back, that's what it is. So
Sorry to hear,
Krishna will
Mataji. I
take
hope
care of
you,
me,
yeah, your guru and Gauranga, pray pray to them.
Yes, because, in this pandemic, what else can I do? I mean, I have my classes, everything is on the internet. So I'm going to have to lay down and listen and prop up my books with pillows. That's the only way I can do it so that I don't bend my shoulders right now. So I have to get out of this flare up. And I don't know how long it's going to take. It's up to Krishna.
So are you going to see your chiropractor?
I just saw him today, and I haven't moved for I haven't moved out of bed for 3 hours. I'm just relaxing that my upper back because it's real bad. So that's it. Just have to wait. It's a waiting game, and getting treatment and listening to what he tells me. He said that can trigger it very easily. I said, oh, okay. So
Give you an opportunity to pray a lot, huh? You're stuck in bed.
it's so ridiculous, Mataji. It's just like I said to him, I can't live like this. I mean, I'm in a pandemic, and now I can't even look at the tablet. He said, you will eventually, but right now you can't. You have to, if you're going to look at it, you have to prop it up with pillows, and you have to prop pillows behind your head until the spasming goes down. And he said, we have to see when that'll be.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're in this prison house, and wow, you're telling me now it's not just a prison house, within this body, but like your body is even like restricted. It can't even move. And then I'm thinking of my mom. She went into she had a stroke. So not only like, she couldn't move, but she couldn't even talk and express herself. And
Wow.
For how
yeah.
long?
Oh, she had her stroke, and then she was in bed. She went into a coma. She came out of it, and she was in bed for 5 years. And then because she couldn't move, she couldn't walk, she couldn't talk, she couldn't do anything. And so her organs just, after 5 years, they were very surprised that she lasted for 5 years. She just had some kind of will. But anyway, yeah, so it's like we're, when we're healthy and all, we just need to be so thankful. And
Yeah, that's so true. And we need to use this energy for Krishna.
exactly.
Yeah, please.
Right. Because you don't
Like
know when
people
it's going to be
say,
taken away.
Yeah, people said, oh, the bhakti is for all age,
Mm, mm.
In all age, you never know what's going to happen to us.
Exactly.
Oh, Manasi Ganga Mataji, just so you know, tomorrow I will not be on the Chaitanya Charitamrita class. I'm going to get my tooth, the beginnings of my, implant started. So I have an
More
appointment
pain.
at 1:40. I'm
More
sorry?
pain. I said more pain.
More pain.
Oh
Yes,
my
I have to
gosh.
take some painkillers tomorrow and go in there and get the the stent put in, and they're going to drill and all of that. So I'm just going to, I know, whatever.
Yeah, but can you wait, Mataji? So because your back is not good right now, and so again,
No,
you're gonna
I just want to get it done. I'm going to take some painkillers, and I'm going to ice my back real good tonight and get that over with, because that's a big process. That's a long process. I have to wait then another month before they put the tooth on, and oh my gosh, all of that. So,
But do you think that you're going to tense your back up even more and cause more damage because of the pain from the tooth?
Yeah, Mataji,
no,
I think you should wait.
I don't think so. No, I think I'll be okay, because I told him that I have this condition, this fibromyalgia, and he says I'll try to make you as comfortable as I can.
Okay.
So he says I only have to open your mouth one time wide, and that's it.
Mhm.
So he said, and I won't pull. As long as he doesn't pull on me, I'll be okay.
Mm. Yeah, good luck, Mataji.
Mhm.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's nothing. I just wanted to say that so that you don't wait
If
for me
anybody
tomorrow
okay.
for the
Okay.
CC class. I would love to be on it, but I can't tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow
Okay.
is Tuesday. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Thank you all. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
all. So if you hear
Love
me,
you
if
all.
my voice sounds weird, it's because I'm laying back. That's why. Okay?
No, that's okay. I'm just wondering, like, are you okay or how is your health? So that's all.
Thank you. How are you? You doing well?
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Good night. See you tomorrow.
Good night,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Hare
Nice
Krishna.
and early. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada Ki. Oh, by the way, you won't hear me chanting so much. He told me when you're chanting, stand up. He said, don't sit in front of that tablet. No way. He said, get up and try to walk a little bit so that you might not hear me, but I'm there. Okay?
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.